Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You're looking live at Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ ITUW, and I have my dad, the co-host, Cowboy Joe, aka Capricorn One.
I am your father. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
And we are back to rule the Cowboys galaxy as father and son. And so, you want to say what's up to the people and kind of let them know what we're going to be talking about today?
So what's up, people? We getting ready for the rivalry game, 49ers Cowboys, man. I go a long way back with this one. I think the first time I really watched the 49ers and the Cowboys, I probably was 7 or 8 years old. The Cowboys played the 49ers in a playoff game, and Roger Staubach, he was a backup quarterback at that time, and 49ers were winning the game like by 20 points in the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left. And Staubach came back and brought the Cowboys back, and they won the game. They scored like 3 touchdowns in like 4 minutes. You can find this game on YouTube. That's when we saw Roger do his magic for the first of many times. But I remember watching that game, and my dad was like going crazy. And so it was one of those kind of games where, you're 7, 8 years old. You don't just sit down and watch a whole game. But I saw that part, and then Roger was the starter from there.
Yeah, that's Cowboys and the 49ers. I must say, even like you said, you were 7 or 8 years old. Even when I first started really getting off into it and understanding the game when I was 7, that's probably around when it happened for me too, around 7 and 8. And I knew that was the rivalry team. I thought that was the rivalry team. That's the way it was. That's the way it felt. Like that was the rivalry team. And so, that was the nemesis, and then later on I learned about the Steelers and I learned about, the NFC East and and all of that. But originally it was, the 49ers. And I just remember going over Uncle Eric's house and watching the games, and, the majority, everybody will be Cowboys fans, but then you will have those 2 or 3 people, and they'll always be 49ers fans, like Mr. Charles, and then you have Keith Shannon. They 49ers fans. And so that would be, it was just eye-opening for me that I always try to figure out how come people are 49ers fans and they're not from here, or I never understood that till I got a little older. But
boy, yeah. you was in the heat. That was like some heated games during that 90s with those guys you mentioned.
Yeah.
And but we can go back a little further than that. So the 49er Cowboy rivalry took another step with, you heard about the catch.
Yeah. Everson Walls.
So my senior year in high school, so the Cowboys, just check this out. So my sophomore year, my junior year, and my senior year. Well, no, I got it wrong. So it was my junior year, my senior year, and my freshman year in college. So my junior year, senior year, and freshman year in college. Those 3 years, the Cowboys went to the NFC Championship game 3 straight years. Okay. So my junior year, they played the NFC Championship game against the Eagles in Philly. That was Danny White's rookie year. So Danny White took over for Staubach. Staubach retired. Danny White's first year taking over for Staubach, they went to the NFC Championship game. Tom Landry.
His first year.
Danny White's first year. They lost to the Eagles. The Eagles really, really were the better team. Then my senior year, the Cowboys came back. That same team that lost the NFC Championship game the year before, they came back. They were the best team in the NFL the entire year. Now, during the regular season, they played this team that had a new coach. He was the Sean McVay of his time, the Shanahan of his time, Bill Walsh. They played the 49ers during the regular season. They played them on a Monday night. And the 49ers beat the Cowboys. I think the score was probably like 40-14. caught the Cowboys kind of, they wasn't ready for this. They had never seen this offense before. But the Cowboys still had the best team in the NFL. Well, because they lost their regular season game to the 49ers, they played the NFC Championship game at Candlestick. Rematch. The rematch was totally different. For the most part, Cowboys, they played lights out. They went up with about 2 minutes left. They scored a touchdown. They had the lead. And Joe Montana got the ball and drove him all the way downfield and hit Dwight Clark. He's covering Everson Walls. This photo was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You've seen it before.
Yeah, I mean that catch. I mean, I didn't even see it live, and
yeah, you wouldn't even thought of.
I wouldn't even thought of, and still today, when I see that catch, because it's played everywhere all the time, it just hurts to see that.
Now my Cowboy-ology, check this out. So that was my senior year. That game still right today, that's the one that hurts because that Cowboys team, they would have won the Super Bowl. The 49ers ended up playing the Bengals in the Super Bowl and they beat them. That Cowboys team, they would have won it. So we would already be at 6.
So that was kind of like your dad's catch for me.
Yeah, it was worse than that, I think.
I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah. So my senior year, I watched that game. We was at Uncle Bernard's house watching the game. And then my freshman year in college, the Cowboys made it to the NFC Championship game again. They went 3 years in a row. This time, they was facing another genius, the head coach of the Washington at that time, the Redskins, Joe Gibbs. So Joe Gibbs was the Sean McVay to the Shanahan. And so the Cowboys, what happened that year, the NFL went on strike. So for you don't even know this. For the only time the NFL went on strike, and they played with scab players. So they brought in scabs from like off the street because Tony Dorsett, Everson Walls, Danny White, they were on strike. So they built the scab team, and the scab team lost to the Washington Redskins scab team during those 8 games. So therefore, the NFC Championship game again was where?
Candlestick.
No, it was in Washington.
Oh, in Washington. I'm sorry. Yeah, Washington.
At that time, the stadium was called RFK.
RFK.
So we had to go play Washington at RFK. Tight game, very competitive, but Washington won the game. So the Cowboys went to the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row, and they really could have won the Super Bowl. So we would be looking at right now at 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The team was good enough. And then just to take it full circle, probably when you were, so your sister probably was 2, I think. I only think she was 1. So that's when the Cowboys played the NFC Championship game again at Candlestick, the game I went to that we're going to talk about on one of our shows.
Yeah.
So my senior year watching that catch happen on TV, this time I was at Candlestick at the NFC Championship game, and I saw the catch, but this time the catch was Alvin Harper catching that 80-yard slant.
Yeah.
And going. So I was in person in the stadium, watching the revenge game, the rivalry game.
And you actually sat in the spot where that catch was.
Well, yeah, I was in we were on like the mid-level in the end zone that he was running towards. So when they scored the go-ahead touchdown, Kevin Martin scored a touchdown. He was right there. Now, we're going to talk about this game later, but Candlestick Park, it was nothing like a Texas Stadium or AT&T. Candlestick Park only held like 54,000 fans.
Yeah.
So it was small. So they only had one upper deck. So it wasn't a bad seat in there.
Yeah.
And so where we were sitting, it
looked like that on the pictures.
Yeah, it was just prime time. But yeah, so I was able to come back in this rivalry game and then see us take off and start a whole new dynasty.
Now, how did y'all get into the locker room with the players?
So I played high school football with Chet Brooks, and he played for Texas A&M, and he played for the 49ers. So a friend of your uncle's, they were at just Chet was here. He knew him. And so the 49er players, they got 4 tickets. And so he gave us the tickets, but he was in Dallas, so he couldn't really find anybody that could fly out there to go to the game. So he talked to us, and of course, you know, our dad worked for American Airlines, so he got me tickets. I flew out the night before the game. And,
on my birthday.
On your birthday, I had to. So they actually got there that Friday, but I couldn't go because of your birthday party. So I got there Saturday night. I got to the hotel about midnight, and went to the game the next day. Which we're gonna talk about that whole trip on one of our shows.
Yeah, and I have the pictures and everything to put up so we can narrate it and go with it, because those are pretty cool pictures. And you got those pictures. You got a picture with Roger Staubach in there. You got a picture actually in the locker room when they was coming out the tunnel.
We were down. So he had what's called lot passes. So we had lot passes. It was like a badge you wear, with a lanyard on it.
Yeah, like a media pass.
Yeah, like a media pass, basically what it is. So we were down in the tunnel right outside the Cowboys locker room. And but so the Cowboy 49ers rivalry, you know, I've kind of been there, just, you know, front row. And of course we met them 2 more times in the NFC Championship game after that. We went out there, we lost to them, and a couple of years later, but then we played them the next year. We played them here. And I was at that game too, me and your Uncle Eric.
Yeah, and that's kind of why it's just like this rivalry with them. That's why it just stings so bad when we just, you know, all of the 4th generation Cowboy fans, we were so pumped up that first year, 4 years ago, when we played them here. We just knew we was going to dominate them because we had been dominating them before. But that was the first year that they had Debo, and that was the first year that they had, you know,
the first year they had Shanahan.
That was the first year they had Shanahan. So, you know, we were so used to dominating them that, you know, we was just like, okay, well, when we see them, it's not gonna be no big deal. But then that's the boombox game. That's the game where Debo came in with the boombox, and it's just like we was hyped up. And for us to lose that game like that, it was
a winnable game.
It was a very winnable game,
And remember, that was the Kellen game. That was CD's rookie year. CD went into the third quarter with no catches. Now we had Amari, we had Gallup, but and then also Tony Pollard was healthy and he was essentially just benched. He didn't play.
And then Kellen, they was trying to figure out why he didn't play, and they were saying that it was like because he had done something in practice or got in trouble or something.
They never answered it.
It was just it's unexplainable. So, and then the next year we
played him out there.
That was a winnable game, but Tony Pollard got hurt.
Yeah,
he got hurt, and it took our run game away. And it's like when our run game got taken away, it was like McCarthy didn't know how to. Kellen didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know what to do, and so, you know, that was a very winnable game. And then we could have won the game again. But, you know, the leading interception holder in the entire league that broke the record dropped a pick in the end zone that probably would have just sealed the game. You know, Trayvon dropped that pick. We would have got the ball back, and we probably would have been able to go down and kick a field goal and run the clock out.
But didn't Bland drop one too? I can't remember.
I don't think we had Bland that year, did we?
Yeah, Bland played. I remember he played.
Well, yeah. Well, Trayvon is the one that dropped the ball in his chest.
And that ball, that pass right there, I really didn't hold that against Trayvon because it was kind of like it was a bang bang play. What happened was the ball actually got up on him, and I don't even think he saw it to the last minute. It actually ricocheted off his chest.
It did, but the thing about it is just like he catches those all the time.
He does, but it actually went past a couple of players, and I don't think he saw it till like the very last second. If he had saw the ball coming out, it's a pick six.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what just, you know, that's kind of what kills it, and that's what kind of makes it sting, is because every time you're that close, you know, you're one play away, and it's just like those are the type of games that we have where we're one play away. Dak, it seems like a deer in the headlights, and it's just like we can't get it together. So this weekend, Cowboy Nation is overwhelmingly everyone has us losing, even Cowboy Nation. Cowboy Nation is just like, nah, we not going for it. And what I've been seeing lately, you know, like I said, I like to translate Jerry. That's our segment that we have where I translate Jerry. And so, you know, Jerry been in the news, and then you know Jerry said today that if he admitted to a lot of stuff, and he was like I said, I think he might have had a couple of spirits or something because the stuff he was saying, it was just like Jerry, you saying that, and we know that, but you didn't got to say that. Like he was just like, I'm just letting y'all know, if it gets boring around here, I'm gonna stir something up. He said that. He said, if it gets boring around here, I'm gonna stir something up. I'm gonna stir something up. I'm gonna get get them talking about the Cowboys. So don't, if it's quiet, I'm gonna do something to get them talking about the Cowboys. And it's just like, Jerry, but it's just like, what? Why do you need to say that? And it's just like,
it's just gaslighting.
Yeah, it's gaslighting. And then he was just like, the tours. He was just like, no, I told her to write about the tours because I knew it's gonna make us more money. It's gonna make us more revenue when you talk about it. And it's just like, Jerry, we know that, but at the same time, it's just like you're missing the point.
I did learn something that I didn't know. The players actually get a cut of that tour money.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've been talking about it. So it's $10 million a year, and the players get a percentage of it. So,
well, I don't like how it's just, you know, like, okay, like for instance, last night when the Mavericks played, they looked like a team. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. Now, it kind of scares me a little bit because normally when you see that, it's kind of like the Saints. The Saints came out looking like they was just world beaters. And then all of a sudden, they on a 5-game losing streak. So it's just like, you know, Clay came out last night lighting it up. You know what I mean? Like dang, if it's almost like, if he does that the entire year, there's no way we're not going back to the championship. So it's kind of like that. But
well, until I watched Oklahoma.
Oh, SGA. Oh my god.
No, it's not SGA. The other guy.
The one they drafted.
The tall, skinny guy. He was like, I mean, just lights out. What's his name?
The one that they had last year.
Yeah, you know they had a commercial together.
Yeah. His name escapes me right now. He's a twin tower.
Yeah, he was like, that's the best team.
Chad.
Yeah, if that's gonna be the Western Conference Finals, you know, Denver is gonna have they say, but I see the Mavericks and the Thunder matching up again. The Thunder, man,
that was a scary series, man.
They looked scary last night. SGA, I was trying to figure out, who does he remind me of? He reminds me of an old school. He reminds me of George Gervin, the Iceman. That's who he reminds me of. Well, you don't know nothing about the Iceman.
I don't. The only Iceman I know is Iceman King Parsons.
No, the original Iceman is George Gervin. He played for the Spurs.
Man, let me tell you, SGA is automatic. It's like you have to, like, when he was playing in that series, I don't know how we escaped that series.
Because he stopped shooting.
Yeah, he stopped shooting, and Jason Kidd because Jason Kidd really didn't have no answer for that.
Mm-mm.
And then Lively was hurt, so yeah. But see, another thing last night, Lively, hey man, he gonna be one of them ones, I think. But to get back to the Cowboys.
But what I was gonna tell you is, so the Cowboys 49ers rivalry, it kind of overtook. Well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say it overtook the Steelers Cowboy rivalry. They're pretty much on the same, but the Redskins, the Eagles, the Giants, we've always had the thing with them, the rivalry. Especially now, the Washington rivalry during the 70s, it was right up there with the 49ers. They were, I mean, it was the Washington-Dallas rivalry in the 70s was like the Texas OU rivalry. I mean, very heated, like guys punching each other in the face, getting kicked out of games, the players going into the stands to fight the fans. Hey, that's how heavy the Washington-Dallas rivalry was.
Now, we got that with the Eagles, and we got that with the 49ers got that with us. I don't feel like we got that with the 49ers, but we definitely got that with the Eagles. When you can tell, when we sit up and play the Eagles, it be personal.
Well, what really kind of took the shine off the 49er rivalry with us recently is McCarthy. He just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
That's just not his. He's not about that life.
Right.
You can tell he's from Wisconsin. Now, he definitely knows the Pittsburgh Dallas thing. because I
Yeah,
think he had a little chip on his shoulder when we played Pittsburgh the other
but the
night.
team didn't. Well, they was fired up.
Yeah, the
But
team played. They
they was
played.
fired up.
They played good. Yeah.
But to me, it's just like we playing Pittsburgh. It's like, okay. Well, I guess it's because they really don't. It's because they're not in our conference. That it's just like, we playing Pittsburgh. Tomlin did his thing when he came back with Russell Wilson the next week. That was, whew, I was looking at Russell Wilson playing. He was playing good when he came back that next week.
Yeah.
If they would have had Russell Wilson playing against us, we would have lost that game.
Yeah. Russell. Yeah.
But I was saying what I was saying about the Mavericks. They look like a team. With us, I feel like the Cowboys. I don't like how like Dak is like, man, we don't care about them tours. If you can't do the tours, then if you can't focus with the tours, then you can't focus in the stadium. And then you got Jordan Lewis, and he like, man, there ain't nobody worried about the tour. But then you got CD, like, man, it do be kind of confusing us though. It do be kind of distracting. It's just like y'all supposed to be on the same accord, and y'all clearly are not. And it's not even. It's like, have we ever? Oh, there go. Well, have we ever seen them like in this much disarray? Like literally, like we might have seen Dak and CD. We might have seen CD blow up on the sideline once or twice in his whole career here. Maybe.
Well, my thing is, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I think having that little, give and take, it doesn't really hurt. And the thing about CD and Micah, they're like in their own world.
Yeah, they are.
They like space cadets.
I like that.
Yeah, and I like it too. So the fact that CD is saying one thing and they saying something else, to me that's not a bad thing because they just not that
CD.
They not about that life.
No, CD, Micah, and Trayvon. Trayvon be in his own world.
Yeah, but he don't say a lot.
Because it's like, to me, it's like he focused on the task at hand. You know what I mean? Like, he beat himself up when he dropped a pick and you can see it, you know what I mean? But like, as far as like Dak, they not CD and Micah, they not company men like Dak is.
And what I do want to see, I want to see Trayvon get back to, he was in his earlier years, he was talking to the other team's players, kind of talking smack, showing that swag. He hasn't really showed that this year. He needs to get back to that. And it's probably just, I'm doing that thing with my camera again. Yeah. It probably comes down to the injury situation.
Mm-hmm. So and then it do come down to the injury situation, and then also off the field, he be just he's a popular person off the field, like with his antics and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the girls he be talking to, and the baby mama drama and all of that. Like it gets personal. Everybody be all in his business. Like, him and his brother, they like spectacles. Like they like, they popular. You know what I mean? Like everybody know that they are NFL athletes, but they go talk to the hottest chicks. They pulling up in the fastest car. They buying all the diamonds, and they are just, they the Diggs brothers. So it's kind of like you can tell like that off the field aura that they have. And his on the field personality, it goes together in sync. Like you could tell, like when you will see it on the Shade Room, where it'd be like Trayvon Diggs and his child's mother get into it on social media, and then it'll show that. And then that week at practice, you'll see Trayvon and he'll be quiet and he won't really be talking a lot, and you know what I mean. And then it's kind of like when Stephon Diggs got traded, right? When Stephon Diggs got traded, and their whole personality is just like, they all hyped up. He calling Dak out his name at practice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of like that. So, but I like Trayvon. He one of my favorite players.
He need to get back to that, and that's kind of a Cowboy-ology thing as well. So, the Cowboys, the legendary coach Tom Landry. Mm-hmm. He was very conservative, very strict, but he had a lot of crazy players on the team, and he let them do their thing. He had Thomas Henderson, Drew Pearson, a whole bunch of guys that they were not choir boys by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm.
We kind of had that.
Landry, he was just a
You
smart
breaking up.
coach, so he let them do their thing. Harvey.
Yeah, you broke up. You froze completely. That's the first time we ever had that happen.
You kind of
You froze completely. Yeah, you froze completely. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all?
I can. You back? You kind of froze. So,
okay, good.
I was talking about the 70s and early 80s Cowboys.
Yeah.
They were not choir boys. They were so the Cowboys have always had this spotlight. Always, been the team that people follow. So that's just part of the deal. So that's we're okay with that and the different personalities. So the fact that CD and some other guys are not okay with the tours, with the tours, that's all good.
Yeah, I just wish Jerry would just be like, see, everybody, I love how the spotlight is on Jerry now. Everybody's paying attention. I'm talking about, and it's not for just no crazy reason. It's for the reasons that it needs to be. It's the fact that for 29 years, you have mismanaged this franchise on the football portion. And for you to actually go through an off season and not do anything, what that does is it just puts a magnifying glass on you and your past drafting, your past team building. It puts a magnifying glass on your coach hires. It puts a magnifying glass on your talent, on your team, on the depth. It puts a magnifying glass on everything. So now everybody, typically all of the ESPNs and everybody always be like, the Cowboys got a talented roster on paper. They the most talented roster on paper. They always say that. But this year, they be they ain't talented.
The rubber is meeting the road.
Right.
So you're draft and develop. We like our guys. It's right this year. Mm-hmm. You're seeing the impact. And I was gonna so now you talked about his show this morning. I did hear some of the comments that you made, and when I heard that, I was just like, again, it's like there's just no reason for you to say that. You like stirring it up, and just like, man, it's like, dude, people are just so out right now. That ain't the thing to say. And it's almost like I said, it's just gaslighting.
It's like a slap in the face.
Slap in the face, yeah.
It's just like
it's gaslighting.
Mm-hmm. And then you come back and say stuff like, I'm doing any and everything to try to win. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. And like I said, for Jeff Saturday to call Jerry Jones a liar on national TV, that's a lot. He actually called him a liar. He said, he's lying to us. You know what I mean? And for Stephen A to go at him like that and say he shouldn't be running a team, and for Shannon Sharp to say he hopes that the Cowboys don't win another championship until Jerry is not the manager, is not the GM anymore. Something has to change. So this is Jerry's time. This is his year right here. We finna see a lot after the bye. Because the team, to me, they came back after the bye with a lot of confidence. Well, they got a chip on their shoulder.
Last year?
No, right now. The Dak, CD, and Mike McCarthy, everybody's all happy, go lucky, and cheering. And
so you think they done made some kind of adjustments that's gonna like?
That's what they said. They said.
They're saying that Dalvin Cook is gonna play.
Right. They say that Dalvin Cook is gonna play. CD said that him and Dak was practicing all during the bye, and they needed that, and it worked, and they needed that, and then he was kind of like, "You'll see, you'll see, you gonna see." So it's kind of like,
do you think Zeke plays since Dalvin Cook is up?
No. Actually, I don't think Dalvin Cook plays.
Really? Everybody's saying that he's gonna play.
Now, when Steven said that Dalvin Cook was going to play, he kept saying, it might be time for him to get his opportunity. It might be time to see what he has. And he was a leader on Zim's team when they were winning and in the playoffs. And so it might be time to call him up. He wasn't definite, but I think they're going to call him up. But I think Rico going to get the ball 25 times. I don't think that Dalvin Cook going to get the ball like that.
Well, yeah, I think if you're gonna bring him up, you definitely don't want to bring him up and just give him a whole bunch of carries. You want to, keep him on a pitch count. Just kind of let him get a feel for the game. Let him get some key. What I would not be doing, I wouldn't bring him in running him up the A gap.
Well, that's what they're gonna do. They don't have any other running plays.
No, that'll be dumb. So going back to our rivalry talk, I do think that Jerry is off into this set of games, this rivalry thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, McCarthy, he don't get fired after this game, but I tell you what, if he come out here and just spit the bit, he better have something. He better have something competitive because, early in the week, I wasn't as fired up about the game, but kind of as the week has gone, Debo is playing, Fred Roberts is playing now. One of their other key receivers is going to miss the game. They said that today.
And George Kittle is hurt.
He's going to play, but yeah.
I mean, really? I mean, we hurt too. I don't,
Yeah, we're not going to have Micah. We ain't got playing.
We literally don't have our best players on defense.
And then, man, I was just devastated yesterday. You said you hadn't heard that John Stevens tore his ACL. That was just like crazy.
I hate to say it, but that sounds to me like career gone now.
Well, you've had a couple of guys that have had more than one ACL and they come back. And then, of course, Mike McCarthy throws out there that he was getting ready to play. And we were going, like, come on,
Mike
really?
Lying.
He could have been playing since the first game. So, now kid is hurt and he can't play. So, yeah, it's going to be, and, I think by the time game time get here, it's going to be hype. It's going to be Dallas, San Fran, the usual,
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I want to beat them bad. I think that they hyped. I think that Dak and them going to try to beat them for real. I just don't know if they're capable. I know that they going to play hard. I know they're going to try to stomp them out, but I just don't know if they're capable of doing so. I don't know if they have enough talent. I don't know if they double CD, I don't know what else they can do besides get the ball to Ferguson. I just don't. They could get the ball to Turpin downfield, but they just don't do that. It's just like with Rico. We should be seeing Hunter Luepke. We should be seeing him. They haven't played him. They just haven't, and they should, but they haven't, and that's just what they do.
And Jerry's been taking shots at McCarthy, in my opinion. And I think one of the things is Jerry just knows that McCarthy is not doing enough with what players that he has.
Well, see, also Jerry, he's not a football guy, but I'll tell you this. He's not a football guy, but when other football guys are all telling him the same thing, he takes that narrative. Everybody is telling him that McCarthy is not doing good, so he knows. Even if he don't know on his own, he knows because everybody telling him.
He know because he's not a McCarthy fan. So
he definitely not a McCarthy fan. McCarthy would not be here if Jerry had his say so. He would have got rid of him last year, and he would have hired Dan Quinn. We know.
This is McCarthy's opportunity to kind of, turn things around.
Yeah.
Kind of, get things back on track. Because at the end of the day, you only play 6 games. You got 11 more games to play. And it's not the only dominant teams we have is
Detroit,
Baltimore, Kansas City. They just getting by, but they also making moves. They trying to.
Well, they just get by because that's all they need to do. Because once they get to when they get to the playoffs, it's lights out. So
and then they got the best defensive coordinator in the game.
So that's going to hold them all the way till they get there. Nobody's going to be able to beat him until somebody comes along and beats him. So
going back to the Cowboy-ology stories, so Steve Spagnuolo, he comes from the original Yoda of their defense is Jim Johnson. So Jim Johnson was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles in the 90s. We never could beat the Eagles. Like we struggle against the 49ers now. We couldn't get past the Eagles. And Jim Johnson was a coordinator, and he would bring so much pressure, just so much physicality. And they were just coming from all different angles. We played the Eagles one year. They actually sacked Troy Aikman 12 times in one game. Troy's rookie year, Jim Johnson. So Steve Spagnuolo, he comes from that tree. So he's really, he's carrying the team. He's a very good example of a legendary defensive coordinator that really shouldn't be a head coach anywhere. He needs to just do what he does, and just do his thing. There's some people talking about him getting a head coaching job. And speaking of, before I forget, the 49ers, their content creators, the sports writers, they're actually talking about they want to get rid of Shanahan and hire Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
So if they do that, the first person that should be in line to hire Shanahan is Jerry.
Oh, man, he better do it.
What Jerry will do, typical Jerry, he may not even interview him. He'll hire, he'll bring Kellen in, Mike Vrabel. But yeah, if Shanahan is on the outs, man,
he definitely gonna be on the outs because they've been talking about Shanahan for a while now.
Yeah,
because he can't get over the hump.
If I'm Jerry, I would hire Shanahan and hire Robert Saleh.
That'd be it.
I would interview other people. You should always interview. You should interview a minimum of 5 coaches.
Yeah, and sometimes as many as 10. But look, if they can be silly and get rid of Shanahan, and look, Shanahan hasn't been able to win the big game. He was the reason the Falcons lost to New England when they lost. We talking about that game at Texas Stadium, the Boombox game. He tried to give us that game. Oh yeah, we almost took it.
Yeah, but we didn't want to do it. So look, he has his drawbacks, but it would be seamless for Dak. Dak would just go right into that offense.
We just want him for the scheme. That's it. And then our defense is really just supposed to be our defense. We last year and the year before last, the defense, I'll put it like this, when they drafted Micah, the defense became the identity of our team. So the fact that our defense is just getting hulled out right now, and Zim, he doesn't have them right.
Yeah. What's happening with our defense? Just keeping it real. It's the draft and develop thing.
Yeah.
We keep drafting and trying to put Chauncey Golston, Mozzie. We've seen what happened with some of our other, like the we spent a 4th round, 3rd round pick on some players on the defensive side, the Fehokos.
I was looking at that draft when we drafted Fehoko. Everybody around those picks, they still playing.
Yeah, they left in the 23 and 24 draft. They left so many good players on the board. Even this 24 draft, I really felt good about it at the beginning, but at the end of the day, in the NFL, the grass will tell, as they say. You heard the phrase, the grass will tell?
Yeah, and I got something to say about what Jerry said about that today.
So the great Dr. Funkenstein, George Clinton, he has so many great sayings, and one of his that he said is his saying was, free your mind and your ass will follow. That's the only time we're gonna cuss on this show, but in honor of the great George Clinton.
In honor of the great.
So what that means is, in NFL, that same saying is, at the end of the day, you got to play and the grass will tell.
And you know what? Jerry said this today. Jerry, because they asked him about, now first of all, I thought Mike Bassett was going to be just, lighting him up, because Mike Bassett is not to be played with when it comes to the Cowboys. He really don't like Jerry now.
But no, they got the memo, so they ain't doing nothing.
Right. So, but they were asking some tough questions, even though it wasn't It wasn't like, the toughest questions. It was, they wasn't being friendly.
So
But
what Mike Bassick saying?
he asked them about, like, basically your linemen. They pretty much, they're not doing good. Your linemen are not doing good. And what do you have to say about that? Being that they were drafted, and they're not doing good. And Jerry was just like, I think he said either Tom Landry or somebody else told him that you can't give up on a lineman for 3 years. That's when you will tell when a lineman is good or not, in 3 years.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, okay, well, and then also the fact that he apologized to the fans for this year, that kind of to me, that kind of solidifies.
After 6 games.
That kind of solidifies to me that what we were thinking, that he literally came into this season saying to himself that we're not going to do anything this season. We're McCarthy's on his last year. I don't want to sign Dak, and I don't want to. I'm not going to give anybody any money. I'm not going to do any free agency, and we are rebuilding in an undercover way. We're rebuilding, and we're trying to do it, without making a big stir up about it. And we don't want to.
I just don't agree with that.
I mean,
I don't think the Cowboys, when you pay CD and you pay Dak the kind of money you paid him, when you got Micah,
but you paid them. You paid them at a time to where you strapped yourself to where paying them did nothing for you. Usually, when you pay your quarterback or you pay your receiver, you pay high-paying quarterbacks or high-paying receivers, usually that frees up a lot of cap space and you're able to continue to move around. And it did just that. We're sitting here at Game 6 and we got $25 million in cap when they could have signed them earlier and utilized that money if they were trying to win now. Why wouldn't they have done that?
So here's my pushback on that. This is the way I think Steven and Jerry said. Steven and Jerry, they believe in draft and develop. They believe in their guys. They don't believe in free agency. That's what they believe in. And they believe that philosophy every year is going to give them a chance to win a division and make the playoffs. So I have no doubt in my mind when the season starts, with they draft and develop and plan our guys, blah, 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 they really thought they had done a great job. And this team was okay to just take the field and do what they do. So Jerry absolutely thought their team was good enough to win. That's why I think he's so put out, is because I think he just basically got hit. It's like somebody hit you in the face with a skunk. You don't see it coming. He's seeing now that their plan at this point it's not looking good, and he knows it. So he knows they screwed up. But absolutely, when we started the season, I think they really thought that this team was good enough to win.
Well, I don't know why he would think that, because everyone was telling him that they wasn't. But then on top of that,
they think that because that's just what they do. They believe in what they believe in. They believe,
guys, they don't understand the dynamics.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And then he made another comment that I hate, that when he make this comment, we want to be we want to be around the rim. Like we want to be around the rim. What are you saying? If you're gonna be around the rim, there's a chance that you might not make it in. That's what that means to me. It means it's 50-50 if you're going to make it to the playoffs or not. You don't want to be in the rim. You want to slam dunk this thing. That's what these other teams is doing. That's what Kansas City is doing. When Kansas City said we're going to go get a quarterback, we're going to go get a... When Baltimore signed Derrick Henry, they was trying to slam dunk a title. That's what they trying to do. They're trying to make sure it ain't no way possible that they don't lose. When Josh Allen, when they went and got Amari Cooper, they trying to slam dunk a title. They said, we need a receiver. We finna go get one. So it's just like what you're doing, trying to be around the rim, and what these other teams are doing is slam dunking. You're missing the mark.
So last night I was watching NBA TNT, your favorite show.
Yes, sir.
So they was talking about Dallas and Oklahoma City. Of course, Chuck is getting slammed today because he made this comment about Dallas not being one of the top teams, which everybody on the set was like, what are you talking about? He
said they bottom of the West, 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. Like, what are you talking about?
So what the Mavericks did the year before the trades they made. They went and got Clay. When you look at what Oklahoma City did, they went and upgraded their team. It's just ironic that you saw that last night in the NBA. You're talking about being around the rim. These teams are not trying to be around to win. They're trying to win the whole thing. But again, his philosophy: to draft and develop. Let's keep our own guys. Let's not go to free agency. To him, that's around the rim, and that's to him, that's okay, and you can win. So it's almost like, you know, you putting your hand in the cookie jar so many times, and this year they're finally getting caught, and it's coming to fruition. And it's not, you know, look, they still got 11 more games. So
I mean, what I don't want to say, and it's kind of hard for me to put my brain there, is what they have done to me, this could easily be what they have done. I feel like if they were to change overnight, I feel like it could easily take them 5 or 6 years to rebuild the team that they have pretty much just destroyed all this time by doing this draft and develop thing. I feel like it's going to take I feel like it could take another 5 to 6 years to replenish that and to build on that. It's not like they're going to just next year, they're going to all of a sudden say, okay, now we got depth. We don't have depth now. I feel like we starting over from scratch, literally. I really feel like Dak and CD, I feel like their careers is pretty much, I really don't, I mean, I don't see what the Cowboys can do next.
What's going to happen with? Well, what I always tell you is they can always any NFL team can get the train back on the track. All they got to do is just do a few free agents, have a good draft, and they can turn this team around next year. Now the question is, if it's Jerry and Steven, you know, that's the problem. But if you took this same team and gave it to Kansas City or Baltimore's management, it wouldn't take a whole lot. But that's the problem. These guys, they just, man.
I mean,
that's the issue.
I don't want to make it seem like it's so simple, but it really is. What I'm starting to see is
it really is simple.
It is simple. And then what I'm starting to see is this right here. If you have, you don't even have to have the best. If you have one of the top, I said this last show, and I'm gonna stick by it until I'm proved wrong. You have one of the top 4 coordinators on offense. You have one of the top 4 coordinators on defense, and then you have somebody on offense and defense that's the best at what they do. I mean, like the best at what they do. It's almost like playing chess, or it's almost like playing you can say basketball. It's just like, you know, it's almost like playing chess. It's just like, I know that I got all of these plays over here that nobody can, they're gonna have a hard time stopping this, but they might be able to. I know for sure nobody can stop this one right here. Nobody can. And so when I get to the Super Bowl, when I get to the playoffs, I'm gonna try these plays over here because I know they're gonna work probably. But if I have to, I'm gonna do this one and I'm gonna win the game. So those coaches, they have that. Like Andy Reid, he got plays to where it's just like they're unstoppable no matter what. And he has Patrick Mahomes, who is the best at that position. And then also on defense, they have Chris Jones, who's the best at that position. So it's just like you got Spagnuolo, and so when you have those combinations, the other team can't do anything. It's just like when you had Aaron Donald, but Aaron Donald in the Rams game. You know, you have the best player at a position, and then you have a good defensive coordinator on that last play.
Yeah,
Aaron Donald won the game. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You cannot block him.
Where I would agree with you, just to piggyback on that, it happens when it happens. So teams just have breakthrough moments. So I'm convinced that the Ravens this year, they can absolutely have that breakthrough and beat the Chiefs.
They can.
If the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, I absolutely believe the Detroit Lions can have that moment. So it happens when it happens. I think where I agree with you is what you got to just have is the foundation to do that. So the thing that Cowboy fans do have to be kind of hopeful and optimistic about is I'm pretty sure that when this season is over, we're going to have a new head coach. You're probably going to have 2 new coordinators. If they hire the right coach, the Cowboys can absolutely be one of the teams that has that breakthrough moment. McCarthy right now, he's just not showing that. We hope when they come back, he'll be able to do something like he did that last year. Last year, they went on a streak. They ended up winning the division. They were behind. They were behind 3 games.
Also, but both years, learn this today. Both years that San Francisco made it to the NFC Championship, they were 3-4.
Yeah.
So
they have that. They had that foundation of coordinators. You can do it, and I haven't given up on Zim turning things around. He missing players. He missing players,
and but also my thing is like this: the amount of pressure. See, Cowboy Nation, we have to be realistic. I call it drinking the Kool-Aid, but we have to be realistic. When we went from, it was such a big deal for us to get rid of Jason Garrett. We was just like, oh my God, we finally got rid of this guy. But at the same time, it wasn't like we just got away from him cold turkey. We still had Kellen. You know what I mean? And we still had Kellen running the same offense. And so the next year, it was like we kind of got away from Jason Garrett and the choir boy mentality, and we kind of came in with Mike McCarthy. It was a kind of different vibe, a little bit different, some seat change, but we still had Kellen, and Kellen was still messing up the offense and doing good during the season. But when he got to the Yodas, he just don't know what to do. Or when he miss a player, he just don't know what to do. So then McCarthy took over the offense, and so now it's kind of like we almost just got rid. We got rid of Kellen, so it's like, okay, now we fully own the McCarthy train. We got his offense. We are a fully new thing, and it was good. Number 1 offense in the league. We went on a run. It looked good, but now my whole point of saying that is next year when we get a new coach, it's gonna be a whole new system. It has to be offense and defense. It's going to be a whole new system. So,
well, probably if you had a right coach, it's not going to be a whole new system. It's just going to be
West Coast offense.
Yeah, it's going to be in the family. Dak will just adapt to it. He'll transition really easily. The offensive players will too.
I guess my thing is not necessarily the coaching. Of course, it's the coaching, the scheme. But my thing is just like, the big thing for me is just like how the organization is ran. That's what I want the next coach to bring his philosophies on how to structure a team, and don't let Jerry and Steven, because if they go hire Shanahan or if they go hire Ben Johnson, but still do the draft and develop thing, we're still not going to go nowhere. They cannot do that. They can't do Ben Johnson and Robert Saleh and then say, hey,
man, look, I'm
gonna give y'all what y'all got, and we're gonna just let y'all play it out. It doesn't work like that. If you're gonna bring Ben Johnson and Robert Saleh in there, you have to fill those holes. You have to utilize every avenue that you have. You have to do free agency. You have to do all of that. You can't just draft and develop and then have a bad draft and then expect Ben Johnson and Robert Saleh to go win a Super Bowl. It don't work like that.
Well, where they are approaching right now, they're approaching the point of no return. They're approaching the point where, the chickens are coming home to roost. So that's not gonna change. The way they are doing this, there's an old saying too. Father Time is undefeated. Chickens coming home to roost. All of those sayings basically mean that they can't do this for infinity. At some point, it's going to just come back on them. It's going to start impacting, their fans, their bottom dollar. And that's where we're approaching. If they smart, if they have any kind of business sense or football sense, they seeing that now. So hopefully what they will do in the off season, is they got to do something to win the fans back and make some changes. So hopefully,
Saying the same
what we're
thing
gonna see.
last year after the playoff game. We were saying the same thing because everybody was pissed off. Mike Bassick said today, he asked Jerry about the fans and what does he think about how all of the fans are pissed off and how everybody's turning against him and how does he think about the fans? And then Jerry was just like, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. He was like, he was just like, I don't see it at all. He was just like, he was just like, everybody's coming to the stadium. I mean, what did he say? The ticket sales are higher than they ever been.
So he just went to gaslighting.
He did. He said the ticket sales are better than they ever been. Revenue is big, is good.
See, the thing about Jerry though, he got to understand, and he does understand. It's like you're not saying this stuff like behind closed doors. Everything you saying is going out over the airway, so that stuff matters. They have people on fans on Twitter, they're videoing themselves selling their season tickets during the game. So this stuff is it's gonna all come to a head. So we've been going on for almost an hour now. We can wrap. So we're gonna do something tomorrow.
Yeah. Do we who we play tomorrow?
Say what?
Who do Texas play tomorrow?
I think they play like Mississippi State. One of those. Somebody usually pull it up and look.
It's gonna be an easy game.
Yeah, they'll bounce back. They brought Ewers back to play Georgia. He was rusty, really wasn't reacting.
And then what was that about? Why did he bench him like that and then put him back in the game? What was that about?
I was talking to one of my ex-employees, James Perkins. You know, he's an old guy.
We play Vanderbilt tomorrow. It ain't no easy game.
It's not gonna be an easy game. They should win it. But he said that to when he was watching the game, he thought when they put Manning in, not Eli, Arch. What is his name? Is it Arch?
Yeah, Arch.
He said he thought Arch Manning looked like he was, kind of deer in headlights type of thing, and they didn't really want to get him out there and, kind of get him, ruin his confidence, get him hurt. So he said he felt pulling him back out of the game was the right move. But yeah, that's kind of.
I don't know what he was talking about because Arch was moving the ball. He threw that pick, but I mean.
Well, it's a lot of Texas fans that believe that. So we're gonna just kind of see tomorrow what they do. But the great thing about it is we got a 12-team playoff. If they end up being the 2 seed, we'll take that and we'll play Georgia again.
Yeah, we play Georgia again. It's gonna be a totally different game.
Yeah, they're gonna have a rebound, and then Georgia, they ain't like
world beaters and none.
Yeah, so we may end up playing them. The way they got that playoff design, you'll be playing home games during that playoff too.
So we might play them here.
Yeah, and so we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to watch to see how it all plays out. So
yeah, because
you got some new takeout music.
Yeah, I mean, this is I guess this is a new takeout. I mean, I have to, I need to start favoriting these things and so I can see.
We can just leave it like that and be working on that.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all for checking us out. Y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. And Cowboy Nation, we in this thing together till the wheels fall off. Even though, we on 4 flats right now, but we gonna be all right. I think we are gonna come back, and I think that what I've seen with Dak and just McCarthy's attitude and their press conferences this past week, I really don't be giving, you really don't want to give them any kind of, you don't want to take nothing from the press conferences because we know it's all acting. But from what I'm seeing is they look confident. They look like they did something over the break. So we'll see. I hope that they did, but it looks like they did. And I just want to let everybody know that we was in the same position last year. And when they came back from the bye, they went on this huge historical run.
And I just thought about something too before we wrap. So I mentioned earlier about Shanahan getting heavy criticism from the 49er fans, and they talking about Ben Johnson. So they just lost to Kansas City for the 3rd time in a row.
Yep.
So that means Shanahan, this game for him, Sunday, is a big turnaround game. He's going to put everything he can. He's going to try to go out there, and if he has to, he's going to try to put 40 points on the board against Dallas.
Yeah, and I just don't know if they're capable of doing that. with all the players that they missing. But we're gonna see because McCarthy should be trying to put 40 points on them.
But what Shanahan is going to do, he's going to attack us from the running game. He's going to try to just blow us off the line and run the ball until we can stop it. That's what he's going to do.
That seems like a good idea. That's what I would do if I was playing against the Cowboys. Because I mean, until you stop the run, we gonna do it. And the guy that they have, he's second in rushing in the league right now.
So if this is a crossroad game for Zim too, Zim has to come up with some kind of defense. So that's what we need to talk about tomorrow. We need to break the game down a little further.
Yeah,
because I think the coaches. This is going to be a coaching game.
Indeed,
we're going to get into.
That's exactly what it's going to be. So now we have our topic for our next show. We're going to have to break it down a little bit because this is going to be a chess match between Zim and Shanahan and Mike McCarthy and their defensive coordinator. That's what it's going to be because they both playing kind of handicap. We bringing Dalvin Cook up. So it's an even playing field. That's why the game gonna be good because it's an even playing field, So we'll see. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and y'all stay tuned because we got another good game coming up Sunday. It's never a dull moment in Cowboys Nation. So y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so every time that we drop a video, you all get the notification on your phone and you can hop right on and watch. And we appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Make sure you go vote.
Go vote. You got early voting. What is it, starting tomorrow?
It started earlier this week.
Started earlier this week. So y'all make sure y'all get out there and vote. And I'm voting tomorrow. But y'all make sure y'all get out there and vote. We watching right now. That's kind of why we've been doing like this the whole show. Because we watching, breaking news in Houston, Texas. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.